A couple years ago, I read this book, and it's called The Irresistible Revolution. It's written by Shane Claiborne. And Shane is very involved with homeless people, and he made this statement about Christians. Most Christians are concerned about the homeless issue in the world, and almost all Christians don't know the name of a single homeless person. And I read that, and I thought, well, that's me. And for me, I don't give money to homeless people, but when I see them, I will stop. I'll go to swing through In and Out and buy them something and roll down my window and hand it out to them. And I made up my mind I was going to be different. I wasn't going to just roll down my window and hand food to a homeless person. I was going to actually know the name of a homeless person. So I decided to go visit the homeless. And where do you do that around here? Any guesses where I went? Mira Mesa, right? It's freeway close. It's right there. We could just find them right there. So I remember the first guy I went to. It was kind of an interesting experience. I got some food, and I decided I was going to hand it to him and sit down and eat with them, and I gave it to him, and he was eating away, and I found out this guy, there are two things he's really passionate about. He's really passionate about Jesus, and he's also super passionate about marijuana, okay? I thought that was an interesting mix, the way that worked. So I moved on. I got his name, but I moved on to another homeless guy. Could only help him with half of his issues. So this other guy I met was tall, about 6'3". His name was Wayne. Bunch of red hair and big red beard. And I bought him a meal, and we sat down and talked. And as we talked, he told me his story, which is amazing, how much you can learn by just sitting down and when one sitting. So we talked, and he told me that he was married, and he invited one of his friends who was down on his luck to come live with them. Well, over the course of time, the friend had an affair with his wife. Well, that took him to a bad place, and he started drinking, and the drinking led him to living on the street, and that's where he was when I met him. Now, I don't know, I didn't really think, I don't know that I would say this out loud. This is probably how I was thinking at the time. I'm going to make Wayne my project. I'm going to save Wayne. And so I just started to do some things for him. It's simple things. He needed a sleeping bag, so I went home and I found an old sleeping bag and gave him the sleeping bag, and he was appreciative of that. And then one time I went to visit him, and he was having heartburn, and so I went to CVS and I bought some heartburn medicine and gave it to him. One time he needed pants. He had pants, by the way, but he needed some more, so I went and bought him some pants. Went to the Salvation Army, and I got him some pants and gave it to him. One time, I asked him, I saw him on a Thursday, I said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow for breakfast? And he says, well, I don't know. So, I've loved making pancakes. I'm great at it. So I made him some blueberry pancakes, and I went to find him the next day at 10 o'clock on Saturday, my day off. And he wasn't there. And so I just looked around for a homeless person. Say, hey, you want some pancakes? And he said, no, you probably poisoned them. So I took the pancakes home and ate them myself. One of the things that, as Wayne talked, he really talked a lot about just wanting to get back on his feet. I need some help. I want to get back on my feet. And I need an identification card to do that. So I went home and I researched that. And another time I went and researched places that he could live on a long-term basis to get his life back together. I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase, how do you know that an addict is lying? Their lips are moving. I've just found out quickly that he wasn't as motivated as I thought he was. And I learned to be okay with that because it's his life, it's not mine. And it was really more about me just getting to know who this person was and him getting to know me. Well, over time, I lost track of Wayne. Maybe it was my own busyness, I don't know. But I didn't see him anymore on Mira Mesa Boulevard. And so I tried to find him. And so I went out to Mira Mesa Boulevard to talk to some homeless people to see if they knew where this guy was. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, like, hey, let's just Google homeless, and there's a homeless, yellow pages, we can find Wayne. I don't know. But I ran into a guy that knew where he was. And he said, I know where he is. He's actually been sick. He's at Scripps Mercy Hospital. And so I went to visit him. And I thought, I don't want to show up empty-handed. I want to get him a present. The only thing I really knew that he liked was cigarettes. So I went, it was kind of a fun experience for me going to buy cigarettes, in the rough part of Mira Mesa, So bought him some cigarettes, and I went and found him. You can't, of course, you can't smoke in a hospital, but you can't. There's a place outside. So I wheeled him out, and he lit up, and we started to talk. In that conversation, I found out that Wayne had experienced total kidney failure, that he would be in the hospital pretty much the rest of his life. And we just talked, and we talked about life and what was going on. And I will never forget, near the end of that conversation, Wayne looked me in the eye, and he said, "You know, Jack, you're a good man." And I can't tell you how many things in my life I've tried to do to just get myself to that place where I felt like I was good enough. Somehow, sitting across this homeless man who was now in a hospital made me feel better than I had ever felt. Made me feel like I was a good man. Now, listen, so lots of ways you can make a reputation. You can march on this and prove you're right here or there. If you really want to make a difference, just love people. Just love them.